This is Colourful Radio. Our music, our news, our views.
On the phone, I'm joined by Marilyn Devonish, who is a soul plan reader. Good afternoon, Marilyn. How are you?
Lisa, I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm really, really good. And I'm so intrigued as to what this is all about because, as you know, throughout the month of May, we have been looking at mind, body and soul. And today it's about the soul. And you, as I said, are a soul plan reader. So what does this mean?
Well, the soul plan is really a way of looking at your birth name and the energy that it carries and what it is your soul is here to do in this lifetime. So it looks at your worldly goals, looks at your worldly challenges, looks at your spiritual goals, it looks at your talents, and it also looks at your soul destiny.
Wow. And how did you get into this?
It was one of those things I came across the concept a few years ago, but recently I was just at a talk. Somebody was talking about, the concept of soul plans. I thought, that sounds interesting. So I've got quite a curious, open mind. So decided to sign up for the workshop. And as part of that, they actually do your soul plan for you. And so I had my soul plan done. And I must admit, I looked at it and thought, actually, it's not all that. It's okay. But then, and it was like it was a 2-day training. So he kept going on about your birth name. And just before lunch, I said, so can I just check, when you say your birth name, what do you mean exactly? And he says, the name on your birth certificate. I hadn't put the name on my birth certificate. I just put down Marilyn Devonish.
Right.
So he then redid my soul plan with my full name, including my middle name, which I never, ever, ever use. And he handed me that new soul plan, and it was like reading my whole life on 4 bits of paper.
Wow.
It was mind-blowing. It outlined all of the things that had ever happened to me in my life, the challenges that I faced both in childhood and in my adult and early 20s, and it mapped out what I'm actually doing with my life now. It talked about me being in denial of my spirituality,
wow,
being insecure, having issues of abuse, which I was as a child. It talked about, having right foot issues and being scared to step forward, all of which were very true. And then it talked about if I could overcome those challenges, I would be an excellent healer, I would have good vocal expression, I would be a channel, I would be spiritually open. It was like reading about my whole life, and I thought, you know what, this is so intriguing, I've got to learn how to do this with other people, because it's so quick, it's so easy to do, but it is so insightful.
I am actually just blown away, all from your name, just from your name, your full name.
Just from your name, because the premise is, and it's based on, it was a guy called Frank Alper who first discovered it, if you want, and it's sort of based on numerology and also on some ancient Hebrew techniques, but each of the letters of the name carries a particular number, a bit like numerology, and it also carries a particular energy, and so when you put those together, there is something unique then that you carry, which would then kind of start dictating some of the things that you're likely to come up against in your life. And it was for me, it was just fascinating, because it was like, oh my God, yes, that is everything I've been through. And the great thing about it that I really loved was if you step into your talent, you then automatically start to diminish the challenges, because it's a bit like light and dark. If you put the light on, the shadows disappear.
I'm just so blown away. I'm still stuck on the birth name bit. Okay, so today we spoke about soul and the spirit and the differences. And I said that I believe I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, which basically means my spirit will never die, and it has chosen to come here to have a human experience. So then are you saying that with the soul plan, it was almost like a realization that basically your path is just about, I can't even say it, your path is unraveling and you're just finding out what you kind of already know?
In a way, but remember, we all have free will.
Right.
So you can choose to do nothing that's in your soul plan. and it could be perfectly fine. I know when I wasn't doing the things in my soul plan, it was struggle.
Right.
It was angst. It was difficult. It was challenging. It even got to a stage where I once phoned up for marathons and considered suicide. You know, it was that sort of challenge. So it's like, but when I started living the stuff that was in my soul plan, and remember, I've been living this stuff now for the last 15 years. I only came across the soul plans 3 years ago.
Wow.
And so it was almost like, man, if you'd showed me this 15 years ago, you might have saved me about 10, 12 years of angst.
but then your journey wouldn't fully be who you are today, you know? It's almost like you have to go through certain things, don't you?
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that people love about when they see their soul plan, it almost explains some of the things that their life is about, and that those challenges haven't been in vain, because it's now helped them to step into the thing that comes next, it's lovely.
Have you ever worked with someone with their soul plan and it revealed things about them, maybe things that they should be doing or could be doing in relation to their purpose, but have you found that they kind of shied away from it because it was almost maybe too big for them?
Well, I think that I'm lucky. The line of work that I'm in, people are often coming to me because they know there's something more, or they're doing very well and they want to next level that.
Right.
So it's oftentimes they're coming to say either what's blocking me or what do I need to do next to really accelerate this thing and go large. So they're normally coming from the space of wanting to know what they can do to move forwards.
Gosh, that sounds absolutely amazing. But as I'm listening to you speak, and I'm really spiritual, it's really interesting to hear and see how that actually connects. There's just so much that we don't know, right?
And for me, I think that's one of the things that's interesting about life. I've been doing this stuff now since the year 2000 in terms of, the NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, all the personal development stuff. And the more I learn, the more I discover there's so much cool stuff to know, which for me makes life exciting. Oh,
it really does. I think, just to know there's more out there, and that your yearning for more isn't something that you're just, you've just conjured up. It's actually a real deep feeling within you.
And for me, my soul, because you get a soul purpose, if you like, and the purpose of my soul, in terms of my soul plan, it says it's about gathering as much knowledge as can possibly be attained in this lifetime. And this may be because my soul is wishing to greatly expand in this life. Otherwise, it might be I'm coming to the end of my incarnation cycle. So I'm like, okay, what have I missed last time round?
And I was going to ask you, because you do so much. I mean, you are a life coach, you're an NLP trainer, a hypnotherapist, and also a soul plan reader. But you started out as an accountancy student. Like, what was the one thing or the trigger that made you change paths?
With hindsight, I was most likely, it's the truth. I was going to become an accountant. Number one, I didn't know what else to do with myself, and people kept saying, you've got a business studies degree, you've got a postgraduate marketing diploma with the Chartered Institute of Marketing, you've got all of these postgraduate qualifications. Why are you working as a secretary? And for the secretaries listening, there's nothing wrong with being a secretary. I still use those amazing skills to this day. However, I knew that with all the qualifications I had, there was more I could be doing. But I was very quiet and very shy, lacking confidence, very low in self-esteem, and I didn't want anything that would put me customer-facing. So I figured if I was an accountant, I wouldn't have to talk to anyone. And so, that was one of the big reasons for choosing accountancy, because quite frankly, if I had to choose a profession, I would have chosen law.
Wow.
But my older sister was a lawyer, and I didn't want a direct comparison with her because she is impressively bright.
Yeah.
And also, being a lawyer, you've got to talk to people, and I knew that, and I thought I can't even talk to my own family, so there's no point going for a profession which would require me to do that.
And then here you are, with all your different hats, where your job involves talking to people.
I'm telling you, seriously, the problem nowadays is shutting me up. But, when I go back to my soul plan, one of my big worldly challenges was vocal expression.
Wow.
And it was, and that was one of the things I had to overcome as a worldly challenge.
And is that part, you briefly mentioned abuse when you were younger. Do you think that is part of that period in your life?
Well, there's a bit in my soul plan. Oh, which number is it under? It's in one of the soul plan challenges. It actually says there is so my worldly talents. Some of the challenges that come with my worldly talents is that I might be a victim of abuse.
Wow.
And I was sexually abused as a child from the age of probably about 7 to 15. And so when I read that in my soul plan, like, oh man, what are the chances of that? But again, when you overcome those challenges, that's what you start stepping into, because it says once you overcome the problem of abuse, you're likely to be visionary, creative, articulate, spiritually open, intuitive, pioneering. And when I describe that to people now, they go, well, that's who you are, Marilyn. I'm like, no, but I wasn't like that until the age of 32.
Wow. I think as I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm finding it really difficult in a way, because it means that it's almost like if our spirit has already decided that we are going to be a particular person on earth, then it means that it's already almost a given that we're going to have the kind of experiences that we may have experienced, and that is quite hard to swallow.
Well, the thing I like about the soul plan, it shows you potential attributes and possible challenges. So it doesn't say you're going to have all of them. And so when I'm doing a soul plan reading for a client, there's almost a bit of an intuitive process that goes with that, because I might look at somebody who's got, so for me, the bit that said that I might have abuse is what you call a 5-5. And so for me, I might do a reading for somebody who's got a 5-5 in exactly the same area, but for me, the abuse bit doesn't resonate, so I don't even include that in the thing. And sure enough, it doesn't. I mean, I have one client, I don't know why, because I've known him for many, many years. He's one of the most balanced, sorted, masculine, strong people that I know. An amazing guy. And I said, I don't know why, but I said, I look at your soul plan, and it feels as though there was a time in your early 20s where you might have even considered taking your own life. And he just went really quiet, and he said, I've never told anyone about this in my life, but there was a period in my life where I sat with a gun in my mouth and I was about to pull the trigger. And then he said, I thought of my mother, and I thought of her having to find me, and I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And it was, but I probably wouldn't say that to another person, because it just didn't resonate. I don't know how best to put that into words.
No, so I think what I'm hearing you saying is that a lot of your work is also based on your own intuition.
There's a big element of that, because a soul plan will tell you various things that are going on and and then from there you will, and the part of it, you look at, there are 7 different areas on the soul plan. So you look at your worldly challenge, your worldly talents, you look at your spiritual challenges, you look at your spiritual talents, you look at your kind of worldly goals and worldly challenges, then you look at your soul destiny. Yeah. And you can look at them in isolation, but then what I do is I look at them in their totality as well. And then that will also start to tell you give you a story and paint a picture.
It's just, it's just fascinating. And I personally am going to have to read up a bit more about this, because I actually love all this stuff. But I'm going to have to read up on it.
At one point in the future, we might do a show where I'll do your soul plan reading on air.
Oh, Marilyn, I'm not sure about that. Maybe off air, and then I can feed back.
We can do that too.
Oh, but thank you very much for the offer. But yeah, it's just so interesting. Okay, so do you have any advice for people who at the moment may feel a bit lost, may feel disconnected with their soul? What advice can you give them?
Well, I'm a big fan of just being still, and some people might call it meditation. I just call sitting in silence. But you can do simple stuff, like you can just sit and just relax, and you can just ask yourself, okay, if I were to know what is my soul purpose, or what is my soul destiny, or what is it I'm here to do on this earth? And then sit with that. And it might be that something pops into your head straight away, like a bolt of lightning. Or you can also say, look, if nothing is coming to me right now, please allow this information to unfold over the next couple of days and the next couple of weeks. And then your job is to remain open and notice what you notice, what signs, what signals, what thoughts, what ideas, what feelings come to mind. Because often when you really put it in those terms and you're very clear about what you're asking, something will come to mind. And oftentimes, particularly if people are not used to going outside of their comfort zone, they're like, oh, well, I couldn't do that. But it's like, no, but if that's the thing that's calling you, what stops you, what blocks you. If it's something that you actually would love to do, but you just don't think maybe you've got the skills, resources, knowledge, connections, whatever it is. But if those were not barriers, would you do it?
Wow.
So somebody had said to me years ago, because I remember when I first started watching Oprah, I used to watch that show and go, there was something about it. Something about talking to people, something about giving people a place for expression that resonated with me. And I thought it's just because I'm watching a black woman on TV. But there was,
and I get that. I so get that.
And there was one particular show she did. It was something, I think she called them Mompreneurs. And she said this line, and it stuck with me. And I didn't know what it meant. It took me about 10 years to understand what it meant. But she said to the audience and the viewers, what is the thing such that if you were walking through a crowded room and you heard that conversation, it would cause you to want to stop and join in.
Wow.
And she said, that is your calling.
Wow.
And I heard it. I could understand the words that she was saying, but I didn't get it. I was like, oh, what does she mean? What does she mean? And now, of course, if I'm in a crowded room and I hear people talking about expanding the mind, if I hear them talking about being more limitless, if I hear them talking about tapping into their potential, if I hear them talking about connecting with their soul and their intuition, I would want to stop and join in. And if it's the thought of being out there, and I don't think of myself as a teacher per se, but I know I'm here to, so today I'm running a workshop about Hawaiian huna and ho'oponopono, and every single person in this room, even though they don't even know what huna is yet, well, they do now, we've been here for a day and a half, they all said, one after the other, there's something about this that resonated with it, and I feel like I have come home.
Oh, God. You just punched me in the stomach. Oh, that just gave me goosebumps. Honestly, I just felt that. Wow.
But it's that, Lisa, when people feel that wow, when that topic comes up, when that subject comes up, when that idea comes into your head and it hits you in the stomach or makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, that is the thing.
Oh, Marilyn. Honestly, that is just, I'm actually speechless. But within what you're saying are so many gems. And as you just said, whatever you have said will resonate with people. If it resonates, it just resonates. Take note of it, be aware of it, and maybe just sit, be still, think about it and think, why does it resonate? And then follow through. Where can people go to find more information regarding what you do and potential workshops that you may have?
Yeah, they can go to my website, which is transformationstm.com, and that's trance, TRANCE, formations, www.transformationstm.com, or just Google Marilyn Devonish, Devonish, and stuff will come up. And, there's a little segment, there's a free resources section where you can download some of the things I've been talking about, free MP3s, videos, little handouts and stuff. And then there's also a section about future workshops. And, if people want to find out more about the soul plans, there's information on there as well.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Marilyn, thank you very much for your time today. You've said some amazing things today. I'm going to leave you with Heaven Hear My Heart by Trin-I-Tee 57. Again, if something has resonated with you, it's resonated for a reason. Have a great day.